Hey everybody, it's Aldo Gandhi, and I just want to let you know really quickly that our swag shop is reopened. DeepDishTees.com is where you go, and that's tees with T-E-E-S. Clever name, guys. They're the new home of our merchandise. You can get t-shirts, you can get caps, you can get coffee mugs, you can get hoodies, you can get all sorts of good stuff, and you'll help out the bar room with the purchase. So head over to DeepDishTees.com.
This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. The following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Radio is scripted now. We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't rehearse. We're going to talk about this next. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Bulls. And then we're going to have Brad Bixon. And then we're going to have all this. No. If you don't know what you're going to talk about in the top of your head before a show, you shouldn't be in the business. I don't know what you got. I feel like Vince Vaughn in a couple's retreat. The Sharks are circling. Old school, baby!
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. I am Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman, and there he is, screen left, doing the dance. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Aldo Gandia, we have big plans. We'll be announcing them in a week or two. I said this is going to be a fun type of thing that we're going to be doing. We'll clue everybody in a week or two, and the first thing I got is a headache from it. The first thing. We take them after 10 minutes. No, it's a beautiful thing. We're having all sorts of fun. We got picks for you today. The best hour in America, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any better than this. Two dynamic personalities with maybe a lot to say, maybe not much sense made of it, but we do the best we can. We're doing great numbers. We appreciate everybody that's in the bar room. Remember, Aldo Gandia, Twitter, at bar room, Twitter, at Mike North, Twitter. That's it. It's not really difficult. You get a free pick. I'm on fire after a horrendous weekend where I got my butt kicked. I mean, think about this. My system picks teams that look like they're supposed to lose, but they win. Yeah. Well, the NBA was 18-5 against the spread with favorites before yesterday's games.
Mm-hmm.
The last week. Okay. I mean, the last week or two, and the chalk has just been winning, but now it's starting to turn around. Been some excitement. Plus, we got the Cubs and the Sox, Elves. Everything's all good.
Two first-place baseball teams in Chicago in June. That hasn't happened a lot in the over 100 years that you and I have been following these teams.
Well, it might have happened briefly for a week or two, I remember, but, in April or May, when the Cubs would get off to a good start, especially in the 60s and stuff. But I got to tell you, and the Sox would always be trailing the Yankees because it was only at one point the American League with 8 teams and went up to 10 teams, the same with the National League. But it's all good. Not a whole lot to complain about. If you've noticed the Twitter handle that I have right now, because we're going to have a new Twitter facade for me, and to mark my 30th anniversary in the business, Aldo's going to help me with that. Thank you, my friend. And we're going to really stress handicapping, which I've been doing, and the shops I work at, from AM 1000 to the bar room to Win Daily, of course, our sponsor here. The debating stuff, it's too much aggravation. Anything you got to hear from me is on these shows. And it's worked out good because I do a show every day for Win Daily. It's a 20-minute show. Then I do the 1 hour. And with Aldo that started it on, then AM 1000 on Friday. That's enough debating. I don't need to go and get beat up by all the people out there. I got too many scars. I got too many wounds right now. I'm a sensitive man, my friend.
You aren't kidding. I mean, I have gone through so many debates and arguments and stuff on Twitter that eventually I said, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore. And there are still a lot of times where I start typing out F, and then I say, yeah, okay, let me stop. But I'm
really, it's going to be called the Handicap and Entertainment Center. There's going to be dog pictures, maybe a couple hot ladies on there, but also handicapping, barroom stuff, Win Daily stuff, and AM 1000 stuff. That's it. Dogs, put them up. But the time to debate is talking. Then you know who you're talking to. Somebody doesn't have 20 minutes to think up something clever and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about that and what we have coming up. And boy, what a year! I mean, what a way to go with the White Sox and the Cubs so far, my friend.
Yeah, how about it? Somebody in the chat room reminds us that both the Cubs and Sox won division titles in 2008. The Cubs, the NL Central, and the White Sox, the AL Central. Great memory. I don't remember what happened last night. He remembers all the way back to 2008.
I've been looking for my keys for the last hour. I finally found them. But I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have remembered that. I wouldn't have remembered that because nothing came of it.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it. That's how you remember it. If something comes of it, like 2005, 2016.
Our good buddy Q from Cincy wants to know if you're going to be holding a class on handicapping. That you know what, they do those master's classes where you pay $200 and Martin Scorsese teaches you filmmaking and blah blah blah. You should hold a master's class on handicapping.
Then you go up to Martin Scorsese 2 weeks later. I go, I went to your class. He goes, that's nice, and walks away from you. Okay,
that's right.
I mean, that's your you think to saying, hey, I took your class. Well, you know what? I studied under David Mamet, and I keep looking for myself in Glenn Ross. I can't find me. To be honest with you, I thought I could have done the Ed Harris role. To be honest with you, I had the right temperament. Oh, Ed Harris, nailed it.
That is true.
They were all in awe of Jack Lemmon on that thing. Even Al Pacino and all those guys. But I studied with under William Macy. I've been waiting for the call from Shameless to do a guest appearance. I mean, I'm right down the street here.
Yeah, right.
Nicholas Theater Company. We had a great time. Actors and actresses, aspiring actors and actresses. It was just, I got my VA money from it because I didn't have I was a high school dropout. So I said, I'll go to acting school, pay with that, get my $400, which I earned, ladies and gentlemen, by going into service for 2 years.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And
thank you for your service.
Yeah, but I keep waiting. Thanks, buddy. I keep waiting. And I haven't gotten a call from any of these guys yet. So we'll see what happens. But I was in Bleacher Bums because of William Peterson. I was in a week-long deal with that. That was fun and everything else. By the way, Cubs lose to the Dodgers while White Sox lost to the World Series finalist Rays. Okay.
This guy's got a really good memory. No wonder he remembers that because he's the White Sox lost in the finals to the Rays. Yeah, now my mind is starting to clear up. I do remember the disappointment of that. Another one.
I can't keep my mind straight in sports right now. They're hacking into our meat supply. That's a very detrimental thing. I don't know how I could go without a ribeye or a supersada salami. Please do a word on high. I don't care if they're pointing nuclear weapons at us. Don't let them hack my meat. Don't let them hack my meat.
That is outstanding.
That's it.
Well, let's stay on the topic of the Cubs. They're 32-23. They have won 9 of their last 10 games. They got a 3-game winning streak. They are in first place by a game and a half over the St. Louis Cardinals. And I think if you're going to start talking about this team, I mean, it's hard to pick one lead topic to start with. Maybe it's the bullpen. Maybe it's Rizzo. Maybe it's Chris Bryant's miraculous comeback season and so forth. There's a lot of good storylines.
Well, the storyline that I want to gauge on is that I wanted David Ross replaced about a month ago when they were hitting about 83, And now, me, the master of the parody, whether it's Caucasian Man, Secret Asian Man, Lonnie's World, Corn on My Foot. I mean, some of the all-time greats. I battled it out with the top, with Whitney Houston, the Carpenters, you name it, throughout the decades. But now I got a new parody, basically. Grandpa Rossi had a farm. E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm there was some guys. E-I-E-I-O, with a Bryant there and a Rizzo there, there a Rizzo everywhere. I mean, we went from the bottom of the heap of possible recording. For God's sake. I mean, David Ross to me is the story here. He's the story. If they were losing, then there's that echo again, Aldo.
Oh, you hear it? I don't hear it.
Yeah, I hear it. Hit the button. You must have hit some graphics or something. Take North and North off there. Do what you got to do. Anyway, Grandpa Rossi is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry for the echo, folks. Aldo doesn't hear it, but I know you do, but it's diminishing. Okay, better. Get down, lower. Maybe it's me too loud. Okay, so anyway, Grandpa Rossi, if he was like, if the record was opposite, we'd be barbecuing them right now. We would be barbecuing.
How's that, Mike? Do you hear it now?
Yes,
Still
a little
hear
bit.
it.
Slightly. It's got to be the voice thing too high or too low. I don't know. We're gonna have to bring the board into it. But they put it on the hydraulic lift. We'll bring it to the gas station. I don't know where to go for that. It will eventually fade away. It always does with the show. But what do you think about Ross?
I think you're right. He is the lead story, and everybody should have suspected that him as a manager, it was going to take some time before, the team that he was going to be a grade A manager. Maybe now he's getting into it. Chris Watt says that it sounds okay now. So Chris, thank you for the update.
Thank you, Chris.
And so maybe it's just taken him a little bit of time to get acclimated to managing him. Last season was last season. You can't count that as a full baseball season. And so maybe now he's getting his groove.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this guy's the main thing going right now. I mean, if you're going to talk about the fact that he, like I said, if they were losing right now, we'd be barbecuing this guy. We'd be telling him get somebody else. I mean, I was already doing it a month in, so I got to be straight up. And Rizzo, Bryant, all these guys that are on contract years, there's no better motivator than that. There's no better motivator than that. So bottom line is, if he gets them and wins the division, he's going to be a manager of the year, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
David Ross.
Yeah.
He's dating a lady that's on Chicago PD.
Right.
And everything else. I mean, it's unbelievable. So good for him. And you know what? They're all having good years. Brian's hitting the ball. Brian's hitting the ball. That's it.
Maybe that's the answer. Maybe David Ross's love life is what's made him a better manager. Maybe all that romance in his life.
Listen, David Ross is living a life. He was a backup catcher. He was on his last legs. He was done. He was finished. I mean, that was it. And you know what? All of a sudden, he's dating this beautiful actress on some TV show.
Yeah, Chicago PD, yeah.
Yeah. And, he's got a first-place team on a team that the over and under was 79.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a beautiful thing to me that the Cubs are doing this. I know there was about 85 to 90% in the stadium yesterday. Chicago and Illinois, I don't understand what's going on. I'm watching full stadiums all over the country, it seems like now, except Los Angeles and Chicago. And I understand why Ricketts and Reinsdorf, according to Jesse Rogers, are pissed off. Are pissed off. Yeah. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get it. Sooner or later, I mean, you just got to grin and bear it, get everybody together, and let's take it as it comes, because everybody else, I mean, I'm seeing 40,000 here, Madison Square Gardens hiking their people up. I mean, it's unbelievable. Outside, there's last night outside Madison Square Garden, it was a mob scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know what? Everybody's ready to roll here. Let's get it. And, I'm not one to usually fight for ownership here, but come on. The restaurants need to get going. The baseball needs to get going. Teaching needs to get going. Schooling. Yeah, I'm saying schooling needs to get going. I didn't do very well in school, but I know this. I knew I had to get up and pretend I was going. I had to make an effort. I had to leave the house to want to walk to the beach. My God. But I mean, seriously, come on. I'm watching baseball in Texas. There's 40,000 people. Nobody's dying. Let's go. That's all I'm saying. And get your vaccinations. Get your vaccinations, unless the latest news that you're hearing distresses you. And that's the problem. That's why a lot of people don't want to do this. A lot of people think it's a dog and pony show. I got my shot. I don't have nothing to worry about. So whatever you want to do is up to you. This is America. But if you don't have a shot,
right?
I still see a lot of people with masks on. Okay. And by the way, the reporters that are on these sites with nobody around that are wearing masks on TV, come on. Nobody around, you're doing an interview 10 feet away. You got your mask on. Come on.
You
Take
think
a chance. D-Day's coming up. We lost 90% of the first wave of men. 10 out of every 100 survived. And we're worried about people's mental health and about whether they're going to catch COVID and they wear masks. Come on. God.
Mike, I saw a headline that the president of the United States is thinking of incentive plans for people to get their vaccinations, and one of them is beer. And so I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, I got my vaccinations out way too early. I could have got a case of beer.
This is the only pandemic where you got to give them tickets to an amusement park to get them to take a shot. In 1918, with the whatever the hell hit us, and other pandemics, you could have said, we'll give you $1,000 if you go get a shot. They would have said, we went already, because people are dying all over the place. I've never seen a pandemic where you got to give away tickets and, you get to meet Fergie Jenkins if you get it, or come. I mean, it's funny to go to some of these places and people need incentives.
Yeah.
I needed an incentive. I like to live, and maybe they pulled a fast one on us, but it's not hurting me. I feel good. It's up to the individual. But how bad a pandemic is it if you got to bribe people like Newsom did in California with $50? Here's $50. Go get a shot. That's called buying votes in my world. I was a political guy for a long time, so we'll see what happens. I got my shot. I have nothing to fear.
That's not the computer freezing up. That's
No, that was me. Believe me, there's a lump thrown out in the middle of my head, but the shot was cool.
Hey, Mike, before we get off the topic of the Chicago Cubs, I wanted to share with you the stat I saw in the Chicago Tribune. The bullpen hasn't allowed an earned run in 21 of their last 23 games. That's posting a big league best 0.75 ERA in that span. When you got pitching like that, you're going to win some baseball games, right?
Well, that's why the White Sox are winning. You're winning these one-run games. The Cubs are winning a ton of one-run games that they were losing. They're not in the bubble no more. And by the way, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Dodgers are the best thing that could happen next year if you go back into the bubble, because apparently you can't win a full championship. It's not going to happen for either. But we're seeing the Chicago Cubs, and I heard Rizzo say this yesterday, by the way, that they're winning these games because the fans are back and they're getting jacked up.
I saw that, yeah.
And I think that's huge. But he will not ever say, well, this is the last year of my deal, and I really want to put up big numbers. Bryant and him will not say that. Baez won't say that. What they have is a war against ownership, which I think is great. I think it's forcing their hand. And I'm going to tell you right now, they got a tough decision to make, because if they're in first place, you can't trade Bryant. You can't trade any of these guys.
Right.
You can't do it. And if you do it, you're going to lose a lot of the fan base. You are. Because I remember when the White Sox did the white flag thing, it hurt them for years.
Right.
Hurt them for years, amongst other mistakes that they made.
Yeah, exactly. I remember. Do you remember what year that was? I'm looking at
93, I think, wasn't it, or something?
No, 1997. 1997. The White
with Falk and them guys?
Yeah. My goodness, when that happened, I was so irate.
93, they were in the playoffs.
Yeah. And so you're on record as saying no way you can trade any of these guys, because they were going to trade some of these guys at the trade deadline. It was obvious.
You got a chance to win a World Series here. Now, does Ricketts need the money? I don't understand this. His dad's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. They got 10 billionaires in the family, and they got a tin cup out. I mean, come on. They got the cane, I mean, my God, what are you talking about here? They're all billionaires, and they're going them short. No, you want to see short? Talk to me and Aldo. That's short. How much for parking? How can you be short when you charge so much for parking? Come on. It's amazing to me. You know what? You see the Dodgers, you see other teams pay a lot of money. The Cubs are a big market. They shouldn't have to sell off. They shouldn't. If they believe, and Jed Hoyer, I saw Theo Epstein sitting in the stands yesterday for ALSA. Bravo to all involved.
Yes.
And he was sitting there like wondering, why did I leave?
Exactly. I could get another.
I don't get it. And Hoyer looks like a genius right now. But will he be the devil in July, in August, in September? We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point you make there. Many great points. The whole idea that Theo Epstein left with a year on his contract, and if they go in and win the World Series, how's he going to feel? They're probably going to give him a ring, an honorary ring, and stuff like that, because that's how rich guys, are. They keep it like that. But I don't think he deserves it. He bailed ship with a year left on his contract. I don't think he deserves anything.
Nah, well, you know what? They will. I mean, they trade guys and then they bring them back and they show on the scoreboard, here's a guy that helped us win, but we traded him because we thought he sucked. Hey, Kyle Schwarber, let's give him a hand, Yeah. Here's another guy. What a bulldog he was, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the video board as we win in 2016. But he lost 4 miles off his fastball. And you know what? He just wasn't getting it done. So we got rid of his tired ass. But look at Johnny Lester, huh? I mean, come on. They give tributes to guys that play for 2 seasons. You know?
Yeah, really.
I'm waiting for the tribute to Judd Bushler, but ladies and gentlemen. Here he is. Jack Haley, Bulls.
Oh, yeah. Good old days.
I hate those tributes to past, I mean, if you're on another team.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
I do know this. I got a funny feeling. I don't know. If you work at a radio station, but you worked at another radio station for a long time, there's no radio tributes. In fact, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, I've noticed that, Mike.
Hello.
Mike, last week,
though, man. I heard Jose Abreu the other day he goes, I'm peaceful. I enjoy my life. I mean, I read that. I go, this is a guy that knows he's got it made. Yes. He's one of the smart ones, Jose Abreu.
Yes. He's
a smart one. You don't hear a lot of talk like that. I'm at peace. I love what I do. Maybe everybody else should get that adjustment. We're here. Let's enjoy that too.
Yeah, how about it? Last week, when we were done with the show, a couple of hours later, this tremendous play by Javi Baez on the base paths. It's truly one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. He goes back home. He's being run down. All of a sudden, he stops and he calls it safe. The runner up to plate safe, and then he runs over to first, and then the bat throw, and he goes over to second base. It was an amazing, amazing baseball play. Have you ever seen anything like that at all in your time?
The first baseman, I could never own a team. I owned a softball team, but the first baseman, I mean, I'd have to talk to him about going downstairs for a couple of days to get reacquainted with the rules. Just step on the bag. But that's what's great about baseball. Baseball has something different every day. We saw Hamilton on the White Sox score the other day, on an inside the Parker, basically, which I love Billy Hamilton of the White Sox, by the way. What a job he's done filling in. So, that was another great play. So you had 2 plays by Chicago athletes in 1 week that were just absolutely top shelf.
Amazing.
I mean, the Cadillac of plays right here in our hometown.
Amazing. Now, how about your White Sox? Are you happy with the way manager Tony La Russa? I've stopped criticizing him because he hasn't done anything questionable, and so it looks like all things are okay on the South Side. Although they have lost 2 of their last 2 games, but they're still in first place and they're playing good ball.
Well, I think they would have won yesterday. I was on Munch Bishop's show in Cleveland with the White Sox preview at the beginning of the week, and I said they'd split. So they got the rain out, but they got some rest, and they get a chance to get their team together. La Russa is a very studious guy. I really liked how, like I said earlier, I don't know if I said it on this show, he had a 3-0 count, Mercedes, about 3-4 days ago, and La Russa didn't give him the take side. He had him swing, and he hit that gigantic home run. But Mercedes is struggling now. He's getting close to the 300 level. I expected this to happen, but he's still going to get some big hits for us. You don't know what's going to happen to him when Eloy comes back, but that's for next year. There might not be room for him. I think Grandal is a disaster. I don't care how many times he walks. It's a disaster, as predicted here first on Bears Barroom way back when. Just look up when they picked them up. We were on the air. We were on the air. And I just said it's a bad deal. McCann's up to 230 right now for the Mets. So his batting average is raised. But the White Sox catchers, if we don't go all the way, It's going to Collins, who I happen to like as the catcher. Collins and Grandel are going to play a role, whether we make it or not, because they can't throw anybody out. Neither one, and it's not just their fault. It's some of our pitchers. If I'm them, lower the leg kicks a little bit. You know, Steve Stone says it. You know, they stole the space on the pitcher. They stole the space on this guy. They stole the space on Rodon. They stole the space on Cease. I mean, Dylan Cease doesn't even have a sidestep worth a damn. So they're not just stealing on Grandel, who is, I don't know, White Sox fans last year kept telling me how great a defensive catcher he is. They never watched him play. He's had more catcher's interference in the last 5 years than any catcher in baseball. Can't throw anybody out. And he's hitting $130. And we're supposed to be happy with him walking. And I heard Len Casper say this. Well, he's got a good eye. No, he wants to walk. He wants to walk. I saw him in the bat last week. He took the first 5 pitches, 3-2. Then he strikes up, swinging. You got to go up there with confidence. He has no confidence in his game right now on offense or defense. That being said, Tim Anderson had a little bit of a rough weekend. 2 juggles in a row, no errors. Both were beat out. Okay. He's been good with the glove, only made a couple errors. Keep an eye on Tim, struggling a little bit at the plate, having trouble pulling the ball out of his glove, had been playing stellar defense until the Cleveland series. I thought Bieber, they scored 5 runs. That should be enough to beat him. They made mistakes that end up costing him. Nothing to do with La Russa. I think Tony La Russa, by flip-flopping, and I don't know if the anti-La Russa people, the La Russa haters will even say that it was a stroke of genius to move Madrigal to second in the batting order.
Yeah.
Moncada to third because Obreu's behind him, and Moncada got good pitches and then went on a tear. That's managing. That's managing. And people don't talk about that. He got Moncada out of his funk. He's the best, one of the top hitters in baseball in May. But Obreu's paying the price now. A lineup's a tricky thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's a tricky thing. It can hurt. Abreu, I'm not worried about. But when Eloy went down, Abreu struggled a little. Now they've made the switch. The other day, I don't understand what he was doing. In fact, this was the game. It's 2-0, bags loaded. And he swings. But how do you question last year's MVP, who's had some big hits? Easy. Why are you swinging? Go 3-0. Now you put the pressure on the guy. He's got to either come in with a pitch or you're going to walk a run in. And he swings at 2-0. I'm watching with B. I go, B, did you see what happened? She goes, yeah. Now, if he gets a hit, we're all going, you B.
Right.
Right? But nothing said if he swings on 2-0 with the bags loaded, he shouldn't have done that. He should have taken that pitch. And then I was listening to the Cleveland feed. And you know what they're saying? Oh, that was a close game. Yeah, he got Abreu to swing at his pitch. You hear a different broadcast.
Interesting.
When you have direct TV and you put it on 720 and you get the whole. I went to 720. I go, I wonder what the Cleveland announcers are saying. Well, it was 2-0, and he got let off the hook by Abreu, who hit his pitch. So there's no argument here. I heard the Cleveland announcers say it, period.
You're getting a lot of agreement.
You know about a team that's 3.5 up, 2.5 up, whatever.
That's right.
No, other than that, listen to this. Moncada's been on fire. Anderson's doing the job. Got to hit a little bit better. Madrigal's been striking out a little bit more. Abreu, when it's 2-0, go to 3-0. I know you want the big hit, but you know what? And it's your job. You can't be afraid. But that was one I would have let go. We need better from our catchers. Our right fielder, Eaton, on and off, needs to hit better. Center field right now, everybody's doing the job. Hamilton was an excellent pickup. And then left field, Vaughn, he's going to hit you some home runs, but his average is about 225. But he's been playing real well in the field. And the Sox pitching staff, I'm not worried about starting or relieving. You're not going to get a better 39-second synopsis of the White Sox. You might as well just, play some music after the show's over. A little dizzy there.
Bearstown 19 makes a good point in that the White Sox need to win on the road. They're 20-9 at home, but
Yes.
playing only 500 baseball on the road. And now they're in Detroit, and then I think they go to Cleveland afterwards. So this is going to be a nice little test. Hopefully they can come back with a winning record on the
Cleveland
road.
was 12-11 up until the other day at home. So
Okay.
I understand, but if you're 500 on the road and you are 20-9 at home right now,
Not bad.
not bad at all. And the fans are back. I think the Sox. There's people that are doubting the Sox. I heard a show the other day. They doubt the Sox. And by the way, I heard Steve Stone say, "Hey, you know what? Cleveland's playing Detroit." No, it was Jason Benetti. He says, "Are they ever going to stop playing Detroit?" Well, the same thing could be said about the Sox with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. You know?
Yep.
So you're right. The schedule's going to get tougher. And we can't forget the Sox got swept by the Yankees, who then got swept by Detroit last week. So nothing's in stone yet, but I like what we're doing.
Yeah, the one thing that worries me about the White Sox is that they're only 15-15 against teams that are above 500, whereas the Cubs are 14-9 versus teams above 500. So the Cubs are beating some really good teams, and the White Sox need to step it up a little bit against quality opponents.
But you know what's good about the White Sox? At least they're not losing to the teams they're supposed to beat. That's the only. You're right about that. You can't. What's going to decide? They always say that 60 games are winners, 60 games are losers. It's what you do with the other 42 games that's going to count. So far, so good. We've weathered the storm. Will the injuries catch up to the White Sox? I hope not.
All right. And in about 20 minutes, we're going to get Mike's Win Daily sports pick.
I got the chills.
I can't wait for that. But I want to change the subject now and talk a little bit about the Chicago Bears, because their voluntary OTAs have opened. Today is, I think, the last day of the 3-day OTAs. And Matt Nagy met with the media yesterday, and he was asked about the reps for the quarterbacks. What are you doing with Foles and Dalton and the new guy, Justin Fields? This was his response.
As we go into these practices, as we go into training camps, knowing how valuable it is for Justin to get his reps, and then Andy, obviously, to get his reps too. Nick and I have talked, and he understands that going into this, that Justin's going to get the 2 reps and then Nick's going to get the 3 reps.
So Andy Dalton is going to get the starting quarterback reps. Justin Fields will get the backup quarterback reps, and Nick Foles, go find a job somewhere.
Why Allen Robinson didn't show up, right?
Well, I don't think that's a problem, because, hey, they signed them to, it's a voluntary camp. So you're not forced to go. So it's not like he's sitting out. He has said that he will be there for training camp. So I don't have a problem with that.
I don't think so. I don't either. But I think if Trubisky was here, he would have showed up.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
That's my opinion.
Yes.
It's just my opinion. I've said that they'll lose the locker room if they get off to a bad start. It's very important that they get off to a good start. I listened to him, and I see that Foles is number 3, and he was supposed to be the savior. Okay, now he's number 3. They brought in an Andy Dalton, who says he's going to mentor Justin Fields. Then I hear Justin Fields isn't going to start, but then I hear there's a chance he will start. We're going through the same nonsense we went through last year. You don't have a team with a set quarterback. And if you don't have a team with a set quarterback, the best thing you could do is beg to God on high that Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back with the Green Bay Packers, because that's the ace in the hole. If Aaron Rodgers comes back with the Green Bay Packers, we're going to get our asses kicked again. That's the bottom line. Green Bay seems to be playing the hard road. Aaron Rodgers is playing the hard road. The understanding I'm hearing is if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, he's going to sit, and he's going to lose millions.
Yes.
That's the understanding I got.
Right.
And the understanding I'm hearing. So you can say, oh, I know Aaron Rodgers, and he's got a chance to lose $20 million. Warren Buffett don't want to lose $20 million. Okay? My God, nobody wants to lose $20 million, especially a quarterback who's got a short shelf life.
Yes.
So is this going to wake Green Bay up? Here's what Green Bay's telling them, from what I understand. We ain't getting rid of you, period. So good luck to you. We're not trading you for any draft picks. Jordan Love looks good. We're throwing a little dinky passes to make him look good, but we know he's not going to be our starter. You're going to be our starter. Otherwise, go host Jeopardy or go do what you got to do. And the Jeopardy thing, I don't think will happen. Go make money. See where you can make money somewhere else for $20 million or 30 or 40. Now, I'm talking about with the money he'd lose with signing bonus money and stuff like that. Go out and see what you can do. Go out on your own. I've done it. I made a ton of money. If you got a ton of money, you can do things. You can be a little bolder. And sometimes it's not the right thing to do. Believe me. Everybody makes wrong decisions in life. He's going to make a wrong decision here. You're the MVP? Okay, fine. You're the MVP. That's good. That's an opinion poll. You had a great year, but you fell short again. And all of a sudden, it's because you had nobody around you. You want to know about having nobody around you, Mr. Rogers? Look at the kid from Dallas last night for the Dallas Mavericks, Doncic. Look at him. And then name his teammates off to me. Don't give me your crap. You have nobody around you. You have a line to protect your ass, okay? There's no sport more dependent on everybody around you. You didn't make the playoffs by throwing the ball to nobody. You didn't make the playoffs by handing the ball to nobody. You didn't make the playoffs without coaching. You didn't make the playoffs without your 52-man squad. So if you want to take your tired ass, your one Super Bowl winning ass, go somewhere else. Go to Denver and win nothing. Win nothing. But I watched the kid from the Dallas Mavericks last night actually say, Hardaway's my other guy. I mean, he didn't say it, but he don't give a hell. He dished off assists. He made his team better. He made big shots. And it's so Dallas Maverick, so Mark Cuban, who got Dirk Nowitzki nobody. Otherwise, he would have won more than one. Everybody knows it. He beat LeBron, though. And the same thing goes for this kid. This kid's going to run the league for 10 years. I don't hear him crying, bring better players around me. And the players around Dallas, here's the difference, folks, aren't as good as the Bulls players. There's nobody that's a Levine type after Doncic.
Right.
But all you need is him and 4 serviceable players. But I don't hear him crying. I have nobody around me. You didn't do it by yourself. That's why it bothered me a little bit.
Okay.
And you know me. Nothing really bothers me that much.
Not much North. No way.
I think Jerry Reinsdorf did a classy thing. I do. Jerry Reinsdorf did a classy thing. He got a ring for Rodon for the no-hitter and the catcher. Brought him downstairs.
I didn't know this.
Front of the line. Rest of the locker room. Where's our rings?
Yeah.
We were involved in the no-hitter.
Right.
He just gave it to the battery.
That's not right.
You know? To me, you get your Jerry Reinsdorf, this is what I would have done. Because I remember when my softball team won the national championship, Licorice, you could ask any of you guys, we got a big trophy like this. You know what I did? I bought 20 of them. So now when they look on their mantle, they got the championship trophy on their own, each player. And I didn't have no money receipts coming in. I didn't need it. But I thought that's the kind of thing that sort of might leave a bad taste in one player or 2 players' mouth. And that's all it takes.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, how come, I made a diving catch at second base? Or, where's my ring? I would have liked to have a commemorative ring. Only thing I thought, but I know what Jerry meant by doing it,
Right.
and they were the battery.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at the box score from that day, and Carlos had 7 strikeouts. So that means there were 22 putouts, right? What happened to those guys who made those
What I'm
putouts?
trying to say about Rogers, somebody caught the fly balls, somebody caught the ground balls. It was a team win. Okay, you're giving out rings for a no-hitter. You don't get that no-hitter without the whole team.
Right, exactly.
But he did pitch it. I thought the thing that threw me was when he gave it to the catcher. Because I know this. I don't think Zach Collins calls the pitches.
Yeah.
I see LaRussa like this all day. All day. Have you seen him?
Maybe there's flies. Maybe
Guy's
there's
a machine.
mosquitoes.
No, the guy's such a great manager. He's a machine. He thinks ahead. He's doing this. The catcher's looking over there. Boom. Good for him, though.
I love that. That was good. When you managed your softball team, did you give signals to the players, or everybody
I
did?
didn't manage it. I owned it.
Okay.
So what I did, I got it from Rich Melman, and then then you have to handle all the bills, the Iowa trips, everything else. But I had, it was my pleasure. I love softball, and I played it at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a member of the Hall of Fame and everything else. So I appreciate everything the game's done for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought my team, I had it for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Licorice team, we won 2 national championships against 35 teams.
Mm.
And then we lost our steam, but I bought every player the big ass trophy. I got, seriously, I said, now they come home and they see that trophy,
Right.
Maybe Tim Anderson comes home, you don't see a ring for the no-hitter,
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. That was something that every player that was on the field for that game should have got a ring, and maybe the entire
whole team. Jerry's got it.
Yeah.
I know this. I mean, I listen. I had breakfast with Jerry Reinsdorf. When the check came, we looked at each other.
There was a standoff, like an old Western, a Sergio Leone Western.
All we were missing was. I think the guy. I forgot who picked up. I think Jerry did.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Oh, my goodness. All right. So we've talked a little bit of football. We've talked a little bit of baseball. Now it's time to talk a little bit about the NBA. You've already mentioned Doncic. What do you think about, first of all, the New York Knicks? Clearly, they weren't really a NBA playoff caliber team or a contending team. A playoff caliber team, yes, but they're not an NBA Finals team.
Randall sucked. Randall took tough shots. Randall took shots he should have never taken. He forced everything. He just didn't look like himself. They set out to get him. Derrick Rose, the last 2 games, petered out. He was supposed to, Vegas had him the game before, 20 and a half. They did whip ass, and he kept, he was under it. He had 18.
Right.
But he had 6 points yesterday. If you're dependent on Derrick Rose, well, Bulls fans want him back. That's why we never go anywhere, okay? You want a return of Derrick Rose because he was a good guy or because he's cool, D-Rose. No, I don't want D-Rose back.
We want new, young talent.
We want some young talent. I don't want Julius Randle either.
No.
I don't want him, but he's under contract, I think. I don't know. He lost money in the playoffs, so.
Yeah.
He might be a free agent. He worked his ass off, and he had a great regular season, but he shot 40% during the regular season from the 3.
Mm-hmm.
He shot 46% from the regular season from for the field goal, overall field goal average, and he averaged more than he did in the playoffs. Now in the playoffs, he averaged 30% from the 3, and he averaged 30% from field goal range. So
you memorized all this? That's amazing.
I do my homework for this. Well, this is really the only one I did it for. Story of my life, BSing my way through. You know me. I just noticed I'm getting a receding hairline. That's called a guy in denial. By the way, Aldo, I just want to tell you, Mayor Lightfoot, she's only interviewing black and brown one-on-one with black and brown journalists, okay?
Right.
My brother is darker than you, okay, Johnny? He looks like Al Pacino. He could get an interview before you, and you're Puerto Rican. I'm just telling you how things are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What a
interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Anyway.
Back to the NBA playoffs, I wanted to ask you about the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James. What did you think about his effort the other day when apparently he just said, screw this, I'm done?
Front runner like he's always been. Has to have a stacked team to win. In his younger days, he could win with him and maybe lesser teams. Look, he brought Cleveland. To me, he'll always be a Cavalier.
Yeah.
That's what he's always going to be. The Laker title, you know what? It's like winning in the Little League.
Yeah.
The title last year. Come on. And your best laid plans, nobody wants to play with them. The fact they got Anthony Davis, okay, And then you see the rest of the guys, nobody wants to play with him. Plus, he sucks up a lot of the money himself.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis is a guy that just can't stay healthy. It's a shame because I think he had a growth spurt that hurt him. When he played in the public league, he was like a guard. Then all of a sudden, boom, in the span of 3-4 years. And that growth spurt can hurt you sometimes, you know? And he's never been comfortable. I mean, he's a good player. He's a great player. But LeBron James can no longer do this on his own. And I just love the fact that, you know, they still try. The comparisons are over. He left his team with 5 minutes to go. He's a deserter. That's what he is. I mean, that's what he is.
Yeah.
He left his team.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Jordan didn't play that. He didn't play that. Your top players, Bird, don't play that. Kobe didn't play that. Maybe Kobe did walk in once or twice. Maybe somebody did, but this is not the time. You know? And Daniel Drugan brings up a good point. Only reason AD is with LeBron is because they have the same agent. That might be true. But there's other people that probably got the same agent that don't want to play for LeBron or with LeBron. It's really for LeBron.
Yeah.
And I think LeBron James, if they don't win it this year, I think the Laker fans would say get lost. Bring somebody else in to play with AD because we saw a guy walk off the court with 5 minutes left. That's not a guy you want to be in the foxhole with.
Exactly.
And I knew they'd gloss over it. Oh, he needed treatment? He's going in for treatment. You got 3 days off. You can't. That's the media bullcrap. Media, and they buy it. They eat it. What he did was, to me, unconscionable. You don't do that to some. You don't do that to your team. You stay there with them. You walk off with your head up, not your head down. But that's your legacy.
Would you say that he is a jagbag?
Boy, I'll tell you what. He's right up there. He's a top 10 guy. He's not a top 5 guy. Top 10 guys don't do this. He did the anti-Willis Reed.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And his ankle hasn't been hurt for 3 weeks. The guy missed like 40 games. Let's call it like it is.
Thank you.
I mean, Wade. He had to have Wade, Bosch. And then what does he do to them? After he predicts we're going to win 5 or 6, he wins one. He says, I'm out of here. And sticks it to him. And they're still friends with the guy?
Yeah.
He got him a ring. Give me a break. I mean, that was pathetic, man. And nobody's really, there's been some other outlets that have let people know that happened. But there's others that aren't. And they're ignoring it. And you just don't want, if anybody, I've seen what happens to teams. I mean, Jay Cutler took a beating because he supposedly was injured and he stayed on the sidelines. He took a beating for 2 weeks. This guy can walk off the court with 5 minutes left and nobody says a word. It's unbelievable.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. So tonight it's the Suns go to Los Angeles. They've got a chance to knock them out of the playoffs. I don't know. You know, I'm tempted to bet on the Suns on the money line to win that game outright. But I don't want my emotion to kind of cloud my opinion because I really want the Lakers and LeBron out of the playoffs. I want them out.
Well, I think I would stay away from tonight's game. I think LeBron James, it's not that he had it. Look, he was a minus 24. He was the worst defender on the court, but he was out there most of the time. The night before, the game before, there was a couple incidents he didn't run back with his team. He's arguing with the refs.
Right.
It's amateur hour.
That really is.
So if Vogel has any kind of say in that locker room, I think the team is, for the most part, quit on LeBron. Hey, big man. He said he had big shoulders and that he could take it and he would. It didn't happen. It's not 5 years ago. So, but I still think he's got enough if they let him get away with it. And if Ayton has an average game, and Booker missing the shots, they can do it. You're still playing Chris Paul, who's not big in the playoffs.
Right.
You know, doesn't have a lot of. So I'd stay away from that game. I really would because, hey, it wouldn't surprise me if LeBron won the next 2 games, but he's not going all the way.
No.
The team, look, if you can't, look, Brooklyn, if you're not allowed to play defense, if you brush against them, I mean, they're calling fouls when you brush against a guy like it's game 30. You know, it's the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, bottom line.
I'm with you 100%. And my concern too is that the Lakers now have lost 2 in a row. And
he never did that in the playoffs.
Exactly. So is it even remotely possible that LeBron is going to lose 3 straight playoff games? That to me is like is a reach.
That's a very good point. And LeBron James is taking criticism. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it bothers him. And criticism bothers everybody. Don't ever let him say it doesn't. It bothers you, but it depends how it bothers you.
Yeah.
You become immune to it after a while. Believe me, I know. You become immune to it. Okay? And you just go along with it. This is the hand I've been dealt.
Mm-hmm.
But I always gave 100% in anything I ever did. So it bothers me that now that he's losing, I always called him a front runner because he had to have people around him.
Mm-hmm.
And he proved my point the last 2 games. So let's see what happens tonight. Maybe he had an attitude adjustment. Anthony Davis, I don't think, is coming back. It just seems like an insurmountable task.
It really, really does. You know what?
If he does get by this one, what are they going to do the next one?
Yeah.
I mean, if LeBron won the title this year, whoa, with Davis on the bench, see Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan would try if they were down 10 with 3 seconds left.
Oh, my gosh.
He'd look for that last block. He'd look for that jam. He'd look to get in somebody's face that said something to him, to set things up for next game.
Yep. Ernie777 says, James is heartless, supremely talented, but a poster child for this NBA, which decided to outlaw defense.
Oh, there's no doubt. Trae Young. In the 80s and 90s, Trae Young averages 10, 14, 15 points a game. He's never averaging this. I mean, what would Iverson do today? What would Iverson do today? What would Jordan do today? Jordan averages 45 to 50 in today's game.
I agree.
If you can't touch him. Instead, they almost killed the guy. They went from almost killing the guy with the Jordan rules, Detroit, Cleveland, those teams, New York with Mason Starks, to this crap.
Yeah.
If you can't guard somebody,
mm-hmm.
you're never going to beat them. That's why it looks good for Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good for Kyrie Irving. Looks good for Harden. It looks good for Durant. If you could play 80s, 90s rules, even 2000, you got a shot. You got to give the defensive team a little freedom to try to even things up. And they're not doing that. Hence, you get most favorites winning the games.
Mm. Mike, I got to tell you this, that people in the chat room are on the edges of their seats because it is time for... Mike Norse, pick of the day, presented to you by WinDailySports.com. You can follow them on Twitter at WinDailySports. Head over there because they've got all the information you need. And, of course, they have also got a really good daily podcast show on Twitter, and it is probably the best.
Just 20 minutes. This is the best hour. That one's the best 20 minutes.
Yes.
This is once a week. This is like The Fugitive.
Right.
When it used to be on, David Jansen back there, people don't know, or Friends. They had a Friends reunion.
That's right.
Enough of that. Enough of the Friends reunion.
Thank you. I'm looking for my wife, and where is she? She's up for the 3rd time in a row. She's in a bedroom watching the 3rd time the Friends reunion. I said, you've already seen it twice. What are you doing?
I never watched the show. I just watching science fiction movies and shows that were more realistic than this. Everybody just walks in somebody's house and hangs around all day. And they're talented. I mean, I love Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Lisa Kudrow, and I love Schwimmer, but I was never a Friends guy, man. I just wasn't. I'm a different. I mean, I watch the Western Channel. Me and my wife, we cuddle up and watch Cheyenne.
There you go.
I mean? All right. So anyway, tonight, take the Boston Bruins. That's a Boston Bruins.
I love that.
-135. I gave out a winner last week here. We finally broke that little spell. Gave out a winner. The Boston Bruins are the favorite on the road tonight, I believe. Check that out. We all the Boston.
I will.
If the line's gone up, I know you're not. How you been winning, by the way?
I have been, a little up and down, to be honest with you, but it's still in the plus in terms of money wise. Yeah,
that's good.
definitely.
Because if it's in the minus money wise, and you have to go hit the wife for, okay, well, just leave a trail of breadcrumbs. We'll have the dogs look for you.
Yeah, the money line is big.
I love Kate Winslet. I love Kate Winslet.
Oh my goodness! Have you seen that
Leonardo, I forgive her for not letting Leonardo DiCaprio on the door in the Titanic. Mayor of Easttown is the best acted role I've seen on TV by a female star since Edie Falco on The Sopranos. Probably, I would say Kate Winslet in Mayor of Easttown is, and there's the money line. Bruins minus 140 to win 100. Bet 140 to win 100. That's what you're taking tonight, folks. I don't think I've seen many as good as her. And I love the fact she decided to do a sex scene, and they tried to put out the roll, the jelly roll she has. No, she says, keep it in. She's the best, man. What an actress she is. I forgive you for what you did to Leonardo. Can I go on the door for just a second? I'll blow a whistle for you while you freeze to death. I don't see anybody, Jack. Listen. No, but can you move over just a little bit? Good time, LL. Good time.
The best of times. His name is Mike North, and you can follow him at Twitter at North2North, and make sure you follow Win Daily Sports at Win Daily Sports. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.